Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of 13 Rings Podcast. I'm your host, Lucas, with my co-hosts, Maurice, Mal, and Earl. We are talking about week 4. A lot of stuff to talk about here. Some of us are going to be crying. Some of us are going to be happy. It was a big old mess in week 4, but a lot of fun football for sure. So we're going to go ahead and before we go into that, let me go ahead and bring up our predictions from week 4. So our predictions for week 4. Let's start with Washington. I had Washington winning. Y'all had them losing. You all were right. That means Maurice also had, for Philly, y'all had them winning. I had them losing. For the New York Giants, me and Maurice had L's. Earl and Mal had wins. Me and Maurice were right. And then for the Dallas Cowboys, we all had wins. So, that being said, Earl, how about we start off with your team's matchup?
Sounds good. It'll be quick. I'm going to start off with the Cowboys. We played the New England Patriots. We won 38-3. I was not surprised on the bounce back that we had on Sunday. I pretty much rose to the challenge the Cowboys to rebound from that horrible, wouldn't say horrible, but not to their standards performance against the Arizona Cardinals. I saw that they stood in their standard. They met their standard from the jump from week 1, and they played under what I anticipated them on playing as. And from it, they got the turnovers they needed on defense. They managed the time of possession. And overall, seeing what Dak has done, they haven't hit their potential yet with the offense, which I'm okay with. It was complimentary football. And overall, I thought Mike McCarthy had a good game plan this time around, especially with having most of his starter guys on offense playing. It felt good to see what they were continuing to build on and had a huge bounce back from that Arizona loss. What went wrong? I didn't see too much of what went wrong. It was more on what went right. And Deron Bland, he bounced back from the Arizona game, and he ended up getting 2 interceptions, pass deflection, and basically one of the 2 interceptions was a pick 6. And it was something that I really was proud of him in stepping in that role for Diggs, being out for the season, and just being able to play that outside role at corner. And pretty much from what he has done over going into his second season, he leads the league in interceptions with 8 going back to last year when he was a rookie. So he's actually my player of the game. And another person that I thought also rose to the occasion was Micah. He had 9 pressures in this past game against New England. And that's pretty much one of the highest so far in the league from him. And I don't really see him as someone to get as many sacks, but to be an impact guy to disrupt the opposing offense. I'm really liking what I'm seeing, and overall, I don't have too much of a negative what took place from this game. What do y'all think?
I honestly think you nailed it on the head there. There wasn't too much that went wrong because you guys didn't have to really. You guys weren't pushed. You guys weren't pushed. Your defense held its business. I had Bland as the the player of the game too. Really impressive showing by him being able to read Mac Jones. As much as you guys did well, I think this is more on what the Patriots struggled with than what you guys, because we know what to expect from you guys. I think the Patriots. I have a question for you guys. Is it time for Bill Belichick to maybe not get fired, but get fired as the GM? Because clearly he can't make good personnel decisions.
Well, before I answer that question, it was a good W. I expected the Patriots to at least show up defensively, and they didn't even do that. They didn't show
Yeah.
up on either side of the ball. Mac
I
Jones was
mean,
just
they
not.
still applied pressure at
Mhm.
certain times. Like, I mean, I still consider them a top 10 defense. It's a shame that um, Gonzalez got hurt. He tore his a labrum or something within his shoulder.
Yeah.
He's pretty
Yeah.
much out for the season. And then Matthew Judon got hurt, and he's pretty much going to be gone for about 2 months. So before those guys went down, I mean, they were playing, but the defense still played as much as they could. It's just the offense dug them in a bad hole.
I
Yeah.
mean, like your offense didn't have to do too much. I mean, Tony Pollard only
Yeah.
rushed 11 times. Like your
It
defense
was
did more scoring than your offense. If we're
it was
being completely
complimentary
honest.
ball on all phases. It was pretty much when the defense got the points, offense just had to maintain the lead, and even special teams got their thing going. I think special teams pretty much kick-started what was about to be a dismantle of the Patriots.
Yeah, and to answer your question, Lucas, I wouldn't be shocked if Bill Belichick decided, hey, it's time for me to step away after this season.
I mean, look, it's clear that he's not going to win a Super Bowl without Tom Brady, which
Mm.
That's clear as
Yeah.
day.
yeah, which
That's obvious.
really kind of, I can't consider him the best head coach of all time now. I can't. I won't. I
Well,
refuse.
Yeah, I
why?
hear you.
Why?
It's
Because
just this is
he
proof
can't do it
that he
without Tom
can't do
Brady.
it. Tom Brady's
I'm,
is as for now, because I believe Patrick Mahomes will surpass him, but at the moment Tom Brady is the quote unquote GOAT. Do I like saying that? No, but is it factual? Yes.
I would
So
still put Belichick. Oh, my bad, man.
no, Earl, go ahead. Finish up.
Out with what Belichick was able to do. Like, I mean, he was able to turn a franchise that went from not winning the championship to a franchise that became a dynasty in pretty much 2 decades, in which got 6 rings. So
But how many of he was responsible for what, the first two? After that, it was pretty much Tom Brady's show.
I don't know with the. I mean, you can give him credit to what he did in getting the team the success they needed, but it was up to the players to meet the standards what Belichick was trying to envision in them. And I hate to say it, like I don't like the Patriots, but what they were able to do through the time span, yeah, Brady got them there. Like he got them the last few championships from there, but some of them, the defense did some things, Brady did some things, defense did other things, and then you had a special teams and the kicker who solidified at least 2 to 3 Super Bowls. So overall, there was some complementary in all phases in which the Patriots ended up getting 6 rings. But I would still give him the credit in which him being one of the best coaches in that, and that's taking my hate away. But he is one of those coaches you can consider in the GOAT conversation just by the rings he has and what he was able to do with the Patriots.
I don't know, man. I don't know, but let's go ahead and move on. If everybody's ready to move on, we can go to Mal's. Mal, do you want me to get you a soapbox and a violin?
No, it's all right.
Okay.
No sympathy needed. All right. So let me start with the good because there's not much of it.
Geno Smith made his homecoming.
I mean, yeah, that was good. It was nice. And so did Julian Love. So it was good to see both of them. The one good thing that came out of it was the fact that Kayvon Thibodeau actually showed up. Us as a fan base have been preaching, screaming for that. So for him to come in and get 2 sacks and kind of respond was great. But that's all we got. To the bad. So I've been really kind of processing it for a few days now, and we're on the cusp of like total disaster. There's really not much that is going right. Daniel Jones, abysmal performance. Offensive line, even worse performance. we as an offense can just not get things together. No plays can be made. The play calling is very uncreative. I was actually, well, as you guys know, I was at the game on Monday, so I kind of saw this all up close in person. And the decision making for Daniel Jones is just so entirely off. And, you know, like, it is what it is with the contract. We all know how everybody feels about it. Was too much money? Was it not? Looking at this point like it was, looking like Saquon should have been paid. It is what it is. So the contract really, I can't talk about it much anymore because this is where we're at. But when you have a quarterback that you're paying that much money to kind of build your team around, and then you don't necessarily do that because of how much money was spent on that contract, it really contradicts what we were trying to do here. And I think it's all coming crashing down very quickly. It's showing the flaws in the offensive line. Daniel Jones looks mentally exhausted and totally out of it, making very poor decisions, especially on that pick 6 to Witherspoon. I was literally sitting there in the end zone and I saw Darren Waller and I was literally screaming, like, pass that to Waller, like, we're right back in this. And next thing I know, game over.
So
it's just a total mess. So I would like to hear your guys' thoughts on what you guys saw from all of that.
So I'm
gonna let y'all
waiting.
go first.
Oh, yeah, I need to go first. So Mal, are you ready to say that I was right about Daniel Jones? That it was a flash in a pan last season, and that he's not that good.
way right now. It looks that way right now. Okay. I hope, and I'll root for the guy until he's literally off my team. I can't, I can't sit here and be like, okay, let's tank for Caleb Williams, because that's just not my MO. I'm not into losing. Well, you guys I don't like it.
It's not going to be you guys. It's going to be the who has the 2 picks? Chicago. Yeah, Chicago's good.
Yeah, Chicago, and they're pretty bad also.
Yeah,
we do not look good. We do not look good at all.
So
I'm concerned moving forward.
So, I guess in terms of basketball, I'm a Sixers fan. And me and Maurice, whenever something goes wrong with a player personnel decision, our knee-jerk reaction is like, what is the front office doing? How does the Giants fan base as a whole, and you individually, feel about the Giants front office and their decisions as of late? Now looking 4 games into the season.
Yeah, looking into it, I think that a lot of the mistakes that my GM made, he's a first-year GM. I can't really give him too much flack because I don't know what I would have done in his situation last year. A lot of things could have been different. Fan base wise, not everybody's looking to turn on the front office. They're more so turning on Daniel Jones because I think they were holding on to that hope that it was going to get better and that it was going to be consistent. And now they're not seeing it. And it's also a problem on top of the fact that, like I said, you spent this much money on a quarterback, someone that you said is going to be our franchise guy for the next few years moving forward, and you didn't build a line around him. He's getting absolutely destroyed out there. Mm-hmm. Embarrassingly, Evan Neal, I don't know, and he made his comments today about how the fan base is sheep and how we all flip burgers and, the booing is ridiculous. And that
I'm sorry, who's Evan Neal, for those that don't know?
He's our right tackle who we picked. Okay. Number 6 overall last year, or number 7. Sorry.
Ooh, he really said that?
Wait, that was
really said that.
Wait, that was last year's draft when they got Thibodeau as well.
Yeah, we got Thibodeau number 5, Evan Neal number 7, and he was a great tackle prospect coming out of Alabama, and he just has not produced. And there was this one specific play where he literally is blocking Darren Waller while the Seahawks defender is coming in and sacking Daniel Jones, and he's jogging back to try and get to him. And then he is making these comments about how we don't know what we're talking about. We're fair weather and bandwagoners when we boo them. And listen, I know that the media is tough and these guys are, they're people too. But there comes a point where you kind of have to understand, like, we're getting blown out. If it weren't for that second half of that Arizona game, that was looking like a blowout too.
I was about to say that second half of the Arizona game is the only redeeming part of your season.
Right, and we're not making any progress. So it's just the front office is concerning. But go ahead, Maurice.
I just want to ask you this, Mal. Has Brian Dable lost this team?
I mean, I don't know if he's lost them. I don't know if they've lost themselves, but every single time that one of those guys, and I'll say this, and I was just talking about this to someone today. I really think that those guys came in way too confident week one, got absolutely destroyed by a division rival on national TV.
Earl, calm
and
down.
Literally,
Calm down, Earl.
No,
literally.
I'm. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. And I was just going to say, and I just don't think they have recovered from it. I don't think they got their confidence back from it. They tried, but they can't. Dable didn't have them prepared. And now everybody's turning on each other. And the reason that I say that is because, I was watching the Chargers game last week. And when Justin Herbert got hit like that and his team showed up for him, literally defending him, it was like a no-brainer. Daniel Jones. Yeah, Daniel Jones, that happens to him. Not one of his guys are there to protect him. Something's going on. Don't know what it is. Dable needs to get control of it,
Do you
it's
think
going to
that
spiral
Daniel
quickly.
Jones has lost the locker room?
I don't know if necessarily Daniel Jones did. I just think that the issues that they might have had came to light this season. I guess the best term of how I observe it is it seems cliquey. Like it seems like the defense is all very close and then the offense is close. And then they all have like their little friend groups and they empower those little friend groups and not the whole entire team. So like when Xavier McKinney came on, our safety, and was saying like, oh, the defense is doing all they can. It kind of gave a little bit of a vibe that like, yeah, we're doing what we can, but the offense isn't showing up. And the offense is giving the vibe of, oh, well, like the defense can't stop anything. So what's it matter if we score? They don't have that brotherhood like they did last year that made them so successful. And you can definitely tell. Definitely.
I have my reasons. You're right on that, Mal. I actually believe the team has lost confidence within themselves, in which Dable is trying to get these guys going. There was a shot I saw in the game Monday, and he was talking to Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones didn't even look this man in the eye, and Dable flipped him through the tablet.
Yeah.
There's a situation where when you know that your newly paid quarterback can't even look at the head coach eye to eye, means that either his spirit is broken or the other guys on offense don't believe in him, at the same time in which the players, because they have to perform. And the situation with Evan Neal, him blocking his own teammate isn't going to help. And him calling y'all fair weather fans, he needs to learn how to block the opposing opposition. And in that, it just feels the defense is trying to keep the team going while the offense is trying to figure out how to get past the start line. And maybe when Saquon gets back, that might bolster the offense. I actually think Saquon is the leader of the offense, and he might be the leader of the team as a whole.
He absolutely
and
is.
Even though that they paid Daniel Jones, honestly, we think Saquon should have got paid. But we already talked about that. But I think Saquon is pretty much the leader of that team as a whole with his energy, and they're missing that right now. And him being on the
100%.
sideline, that's not going to help with him being on the field. So I think that's the part they're missing. But losing the games that y'all have, it just breaks your spirit. And I just think their spirit is broke, in which they're going to have to figure something out to rebuild that confidence back again. But I also put blame on the front office in trying to get the best players to help the team, not as a want, but a need. And the situation you're seeing with the offensive line, if you know that that's a major thing that needed to be addressed, you should have did that. And if you knew that your receivers needed someone to help get them going, get a number one. I honestly put the blame on the front office as well as the players not keeping themselves accountable and performing the games that they have.
100%, Earl.
That's a great note to end on. And Maurice, it's time.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
The second interdivisional matchup of the season, Eagles versus Commanders. And Maurice, first off, let me just say this. It might have been the most entertaining game of this week of any NFL team, except for maybe the Jets versus the Chiefs. Like, it was one of the top games this past week. Went into overtime. Commanders fell short, 31-34. And I will maintain this, that Terry McLaurin was inbound on that third down. I will maintain that. And if he didn't step on the defender's arm, it would have been clear as day. But he was inbound. I promise you all that. But that's the only thing.
Wait, quick question.
Yeah.
Sorry. Did your defender get hurt, Maurice?
He had some bruises on his arm, but he was
watching
fine.
that play back, and I was like, oh my God.
He's got a tattoo of a cleat.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're going to be remembering that for a few weeks. But that's okay. They got, you know what you got? I have no bad ill will about this game because there's a lot of positives that I took away from it. And it was a good game. It was a good game. Like,
I'll say this.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll say this. Sam Howell showed me something.
What did he show you, Maurice? Tell me.
Well, he's got some guts. I'll say that. This is PG. He's got some guts. I'll say that.
Okay.
I mean, that last play to Dotson was a laser. I mean, that was pretty clutch. I'll give him that. That was pretty good. It was a very entertaining game, and as they always say, football is a game of inches. So McLaurin would have had his foot in. That could have been a totally.
He did have. Don't say if he did. They just got the call wrong.
They got stopped by an arm.
Right. It's your opinion. He was out.
Okay. Anyway, let me go ahead and start here first. What went wrong? Offensive line still had issues at the time. And Emmanuel Forbes, love him to death. Got to stop trash talking the big dogs, though, okay? You ain't there yet. You can't be poking the bear because he went off on us. He was guarding A.J. Brown for most of the game. A.J. Brown had 175 yards on 9 catches, including a couple lone botch coverages in the fourth.
But Lucas, I will say, even though, it was not the best showing from Forbes, he is a rookie and he will learn from it. He does
I hope
those
so.
mistakes.
I mean, look,
yeah.
I like the feistiness, but at the same time, you got to know when to poke the bear, when not to poke the bear.
Oh, 100%.
But at the same time, I appreciate.
I want to talk. I want to talk to Lucas one-on-one, just one-on-one with him. But I'm gonna let y'all go ahead.
So that's pretty much what went wrong. I mean, the rushing game wasn't the strongest. Brian Robinson only had 45 yards. He did have a touchdown though. He probably should have had 2, but he fumbled at the goal line pretty much. It was a good game. What went well? Sam Howell. Let me just say this: Sam Howell was sacked 9 times and had 4 interceptions last week against a Super Bowl contender. He plays another Super Bowl contender. Leads not 1 but 2 game-tying drives in the fourth quarter, including one that literally expired at the buzzer.
It's not about what happened last week. It's about how you bounce back.
It's how you bounce back, and you know what? That showed me a lot right there because I was having concerns for a little bit. And Earl, I'm not going to repeat them on here because I don't want to jinx it. But I was, we talked about it a little bit, but there was some concerns in my heart. But that performance, got rid of all those concerns. Also, want to say this: our defense was fantastic for the most part. I know we gave up 34 points, but you know how many yards Swift had?
Yeah, he didn't have about
56.
56, yeah.
56 yards. For a guy that was averaging the last 2 games over 100, I'll take that. And it wasn't like he didn't have a lot of carries. He had 14 carries.
Well, I would say this. the Eagles really didn't invest much into the running game this week, and it kind of infuriated me a little bit because if they would have ran the ball a little bit more, I don't think this game would have been even close.
Well, you know what the main reason what happened to you guys is that
What's
you
that?
guys kept on killing yourself with timely penalties. You guys could have
Yeah.
put us away a couple times, but you guys made stupid penalties on third down or at the goal line.
Yeah, pass
Yeah.
interference, roughing up. Yeah,
Yeah, like like look, I'm proud of my guys, but it should not have been this close. If you guys actually played disciplined football this week, which you didn't, I think that's fair to say, it would have been a lot wider margin.
yeah.
No,
We won this game on talent.
Yeah, you guys did, and I'll also say this: Ron Rivera should have gone for 2.
You
Because
think so?
I think so. Because look, if you're playing
Why
a team
not?
that you know is more skilled than you are, if you have the opportunity to win before going into overtime and letting the football gods decide what happens, wouldn't you take the chance to win it all? I would. That's just me. I would have tried to look. The offense was clicking at the moment. We had all the momentum. Why not? I think I
That-
would have gone for 2.
that is true, Lucas. And at that point in time when y'all did tie it, in my mind, I was like, why are they kicking the field goal? I guess they weren't about that life because
They weren't, and that's why this is another thing that drives me crazy about Ron. Riverboat
Right.
Ron drives me crazy.
Right. But at the same time, earlier in the game, Washington did a great job on defense, sustaining the run as well as putting pressure on Jalen Hurts.
And look, we were good, but all they needed was a field goal.
Let me finish.
Okay.
At the time, in the second half, I watched the game closely and see how the Eagles adjusted. Y'all had the worst cover 2 sideline window and got smoked twice.
I know.
By AJ Brown.
Yeah, I know.
It made no sense. And then at that point in time, I get Emmanuel Forbes got smoked, but this is going to be a learning for him. And it kind of reminds me back when Trayvon Diggs was a rookie and Terry McLaurin smoked him when we played y'all. After that, he adjusted, started getting interceptions and things, and became better after that rookie year. No doubt in my mind, I'm giving credit to Forbes as this is a learning. This is a learning time for him. And no doubt in my mind, as the season goes along and through his career, he has the potential to be better than that. But he could dial down on the smack talk a bit.
I agree.
Because he got hit with the double move.
Yes, he did. Okay, so Maurice, talk about your side now. What went wrong? What went right?
Well, what went right for us was Jalen Hurts. Although I still think he dropped back too many times. 25 for 37 for 319 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was very efficient. Jalen Hurts plays his best when they're behind because he takes a little bit more risk. He's not as conservative. That's the Jalen Hurts I like. Running game was pretty pedestrian. Like you said, Swift had 14 carries for 56 yards. He had a touchdown. I wish they would have ran more. I don't think this game would have been close if they would have ran the ball maybe 10 more times.
I guess we'll never know.
We'll never know. But I did like our defense.
You guys had a good defense.
Yeah, Sam Howell was still sacked 5 times. I know it's less than 9, but 5 is still a lot.
Well, that's most of those sacks. I would say 2 out of the 5 were because he held on too long, but the other ones were just good blitz pack. Bad offensive line play by us. Good defensive line play by y'all. Yeah.
He did improve on not holding the ball too long, though.
Oh yeah, no, he was a lot better about getting it out quick.
Maurice, I was going to say, and one thing that I'll continue to say every week because he constantly shows out to me, Jalen Carter, he's going to be so good for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be a dominant player for years to come.
Yeah. Truly great rookie.
Yeah, Nicholas Morrow, someone who was cut at the roster cuts before the season, came back with N'Kobe Dean still out. He had 11 tackles, 3 sacks, and Hassan Reddick finally got on the board with a sack after having 17 last season. Finally got 1 sack. Overall great effort. Player positive was Jalen Hurts. Negative was just the secondary of the defense. Eric Bieniemy threw a lot of stuff at the Eagles secondary. They got some guys out. One thing I noticed about Eric Bieniemy is he uses a lot of motion, which can throw off the defense, especially a younger defense with backups who don't really communicate as well.
I was about to say, you guys lost a few people in that game.
Yeah, most of them are probably out for maybe a game. Nothing serious.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So let's discuss it. For each team, who was the player of the game? I think for the Commanders, it's easy. It was Sam Howell.
Yeah, for me, it's AJ Brown. He pretty much dominated.
I think that's pretty fair. Do you guys want to add anything else?
AJ Brown as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, AJ Brown, Sam Howell for me as well.
Yep, fair enough. So anything else from this game? Okay, I'll just say this. There are no moral victories in football, but I do feel a lot better about my team walking away from this past week.
I'll say one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Chase Young is looking like he can do some things.
Yeah, Chase Young is looking like he's coming back. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's about time.
At the right time.
I got one for you, Lucas. It was really great to see Jahan Dotson show up.
Yeah, it was nice. He had so actually, you know what? He didn't even have that many yards. He only had 27 yards on 4 catches, but
gotta keep touchdown though.
Gotta keep touchdown, exactly. He knows how to get open in the end zone. Actually, Dami Brown was the second leading receiver with 51 yards. Him and Curtis Samuel were tied for that.
Yeah, that's Howell's buddy from North Carolina.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And we're glad to see Logan Thomas back. We missed him. Man, I was afraid he almost got a concussion on that catch that he had downfield.
Ooh,
Y'all sandwiched him.
And we got calls for that too. Yeah.
To be fair, y'all deserve it.
Calling that now too.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that's time for us to move on to our 2-minute drill. Earl, take it away for us.
Will do. This is going to be quick. I know it was a little longer the last time, but I'm just going to go through the details. I watched the Falcons and Jaguars game, and the Jaguars beat the Falcons 23-7. I didn't watch the actual game, but I saw the Toy Story version of it. It was really cool to see.
I love that.
You watched the Toy Story game? Okay.
Yep.
It was cool.
I watched it.
It was really cool. I felt like a kid again watching it. The next game I watched was the Cardinals and Niners, in which the Niners pulled away late against the Cardinals, and it was 35-16. And the last game of the night on Sunday night was the Chiefs and Jets game. And when I say it was some hostile stuff with that, the Chiefs won 23-20, and situation with the refs definitely played a part.
I just want to say that it was good to see Zach Wilson actually look like a competent NFL quarterback.
Yes, Zach Wilson.
I'm so proud of him balling out in this game.
Yes.
He really needed that to give his career a rejuvenation.
Yeah, speaking of career rejuvenations, let me start with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the New Orleans Saints. Tampa Bay won 26-9. They are now 3-1 on the season. And Baker Mayfield balled out. Guys, Baker Mayfield might have found a home here in Tampa. He's looking good. He's looking good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is Baker Mayfield him? Because he seems
I don't know if he's
not yet.
Not yet. But you know what? He's not. He's less of not him than he is more him at this point.
That's a good way to put it.
So
put him in the conversation of him is insane.
All right, next game, the Denver Broncos and the winless Denver Broncos played the winless Chicago Bears. In a stunning comeback, the Broncos won 31-28. Justin
Lucas,
Fields.
Can I say what you called the game?
No, we cannot.
Okay.
Because I did not call it that one. That was a meme on social media. But
you implied it.
We gotta be sensitive here. Okay, sensitive.
I understand.
So And you know what? Russell Wilson and Justin Fields both balled out. That was good to see Justin finally have a breakout game. And to wrap up this round of the 3-minute drill, I also had the Bengals versus the Titans. The Bengals have been very disappointing, and they lost 3-27 against the Tennessee Titans. Derrick Henry did his normal thing with over 100 yards rushing, and Joe Burrow looks like a shell of himself.
He's hurt.
I get it, but they shouldn't be playing him if he's hurt.
Yeah, he's gotta sit himself.
They gotta
out and
rest
take
him
one for the team.
Look, at this point, their season is essentially lost anyway. They need to start resting him. Think about his long-term health. They just paid all that money.
Yep. All right. Thursday night, Lions toppled the Packers 34-20. David Montgomery had 32 carries. That's a lot. For 121 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Hang on, Maurice. Wasn't Montgomery on the Packers at one point?
Bears.
No.
Bears? Okay, I thought he was on the Packers at one point. My bad.
Mm-hmm. And Chargers defeat the Raiders 24-17. Jimmy Garoppolo did not play. Backup Aiden O'Connell stood no chance whatsoever. And
Khalil Mack had 6 sacks.
That's a lot.
Mm.
Is that like a team record? I don't know. I had to look at it.
I don't know. By him, that's the most he's done against his former team.
And the Buffalo Bills defeat the Miami Dolphins. We knew they was going to have a letdown after last week's 70-point outburst. 48-20. Josh Allen went 21 for 25 for 320 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Diggs was my MVP in that one.
Mm-hmm. Mal?
Absolutely, yeah. All right. So, first I had the Ravens Browns. Ravens win 28-3. Lamar Jackson showed out 2 rushing touchdowns. Then I had the Vikings Panthers. The Vikings win 21-13. Justin Jefferson continues to dominate with 2 touchdowns. And then I had the Steelers Texans, which was a surprise. And it was a blowout by the Texans, 30-6. Rookie quarterback CJ Stroud looks awesome. He had himself a game, 306 yards with 2 touchdowns with a banged up offensive line. So look out for him.
What is going on?
The jerseys was fire.
Oh yeah.
The Steelers look a mess.
Yeah.
Can't deny that.
Yeah.
And now they got the Ravens next week, so we'll see what happens.
Definitely.
Well, already know who winning that one.
Mm-hmm.
And on that note, that wraps up our 2-minute drill.
All right. Now let's move on to fantasy. Well, it's been an interesting week in fantasy in our fantasy league. Let's start off with the real winner of this week, Earl.
Yeah, Earl, you knocked off the only undefeated.
Like I said, I enjoyed delivering breadsticks. Hopefully, more on the
What are you, Pizza Hut?
Nah, I'm me.
More like Olive Garden.
Yeah, Olive Garden with them breadsticks. Gotta take some home with you.
Yeah, it's some good stuff. I won 156.3 to 126.1.
Stephon Diggs, crazy.
Stephon Diggs did his thing. He had 6 receptions for 120 yards and 3 touchdowns. He even broke away from 2 defenders, made them look stupid, ran down the sideline. He took a fan's 2 beers, poured it on him like a Stone Cold Steve Austin. And, yeah, good time. Patrick Mahomes really let me down, but, I mean, I had the win at hand. He gave me 17.9 points. He had 203 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. The Jets' defense gave him problems. And second to that was Miami Dolphins running back Kane. He gave me 101 yards and 2 touchdowns. But
yeah,
overall, go ahead.
You had CJ Stroud on the bench. He had 46.
Yeah, I might have to start leaning towards him.
I don't know what that.
Mahomes, he
Can we just talk about how good CJ Stroud is?
I know. I love it so much.
Me and Earl talked about this before the draft. I believe that CJ Stroud is easily the best quarterback from that draft.
Absolutely.
I can
I'd have
agree
to
with
agree.
that too. He
Offensive
has an
line.
arm. He has that prototypical like frame of a quarterback, and being able to give the Texans pretty much a legit real quarterback to throw the ball, that gives them momentum as well as the defensive side too. The defense is actually balling out, and I give credit to him.
Kudos to D'Amico Ryan getting that team playing hard.
Yeah, he used to play there too.
I know. I saw a stat that he won his first game as a Texan back in 2006. And he won his first game as the coach of the Texans in 2023. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
All right, and move on a little bit to the other four teams. Wes and Joe played each other. Joe won Buffalo Chicken Wings, 121 to 115. I beat my buddy John. Sadly, he's 0-4, which is not a good look for me.
No, it's not.
No.
He got to get himself a red stick.
Yeah, but I beat him 153 to 101. I started Anthony Richardson.
I'm proud of you, Maurice.
That was a good.
I don't know if he's rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year, or CJ Stroud.
It's CJ Stroud, but it's close.
I would say this, fantasy wise, Anthony Richardson is better.
Oh yeah, fantasy wise, Anthony Richardson's better. But if I'm building a team, I'd rather have CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think CJ Stroud this is third week of having 40 plus points.
That's pretty good.
That is pretty good.
Yeah, like his first week when he played the Ravens, he had 21, and then the last couple he had 47.5, 43.4, and then
granted,
and he doesn't have weapons. That's the thing.
Yeah, granted, the Ravens are a tough defense.
Collins and Tank Dell.
Yeah, but are they real number ones on a true contender though?
Hey, it's working though.
It's working. I'm just saying. Imagine if you had true number ones.
Yeah.
I mean, they win.
And so Richardson gave me 47 points. Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in fantasy football, best running back in the league, period.
I was going to say, yeah, here's a hot take. Sure. If he keeps on playing like this, he should win MVP.
I was just going to say that.
Over Tua? I don't know.
Yeah, I would say so. How often do you see a running back produce at this level?
You don't.
Unstoppable.
Yeah, it's the scheme he's in.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
He ain't say that when he was in Carolina, did we?
I mean, he was still a top 5 running back in Carolina.
Yeah, he was. He was still up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was very versatile.
Not under MVP status.
Especially if you're playing Christian McCaffrey in a PPR league, a point per reception league, you're loving it. You're loving it right now. Ashley had David Montgomery on my bench this week. He gave me 35 points. I started Travis Etienne, McCaffrey and Swift. I might have to take Etienne out.
I would say so. Yeah,
I agree.
And the matchup of the week, Maurice and Lucas. With Mal,
congratulations.
Thank you. I'm on a 2-game win streak.
And I'm on a 2-game lose streak.
It wasn't the worst week for Mal. She won.
No. I mean, so AJ Brown was my GOAT this week. He got me 35.5 points. With
AJ Brown and Mark Andrews won you this past week.
Absolutely. And I'm going to just say this, though. Long term, moving on in the season, I have a significant running back problem.
Yes, you
my
do.
running backs are so non-productive. I hope this week that Breece gets more touches now that Salah came out and said he's not what did he say? He's not limited anymore. So hopefully he'll actually be like the true number 1 and won't be splitting so much with Cook, so I can get some more points with him. But the one thing that I have a question for you guys for my fantasy team for next week. So I had Lamar on the bench and he got me 45.8.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's versing Pittsburgh this week, and Tua's playing the Giants. Who's going to go off more?
I'm going to say Lamar.
Lamar?
Oh,
right.
Now y'all on the Lamar train.
I've always been on the Lamar train.
Look, I'm not on the Lamar train, but I'm always on, putting down the Steelers when I can. So
That's
I
fair.
will say put Lamar in.
I am thinking I wouldn't
I
say
think-
put Tua, but you also got to account to the speed that the Dolphins have against
Yeah.
the Giants corners. That's my only.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Giants actually have a good defense, though. The Steelers do not. The Steelers are looking like hot trash right now.
I appreciate the one little compliment for the Giants. That's a little silver lining. A little silver lining.
Oh, I do have one more thing for you, Mal. I
Yeah.
didn't get a chance to tell you the player of the game on the Giants and Seahawks. I'm gonna say it's you.
Me?
Mhm.
Oh, I agree with that 100%.
Because after everything the players did and just put you in a bad muck, you still kept your head up, kept going. So I give you the MVP for that.
Thank you. I love my team. I will always love them through the good and the bad. I'll still always be here.
So
Respect.
I gotta talk about my side now.
Yeah,
I
Lucas,
did not
let's hear what you got.
look. I should have started Sam Howell, even though he had negative fantasy points the week before. He ended up being my leading scorer at quarterback with 37.5. Should have also started Terry McLaurin and Brian Robinson. They both Brian Robinson had 12, Terry almost had 16. Look, I probably could have won that. Even if you started Lamar, I think it would have been close. I don't know the exact numbers, but
It sounds like you got to start believing in your team a little more, Lucas.
I mean, look, it was a really rough week against the Bills last week. I think that's fair
hear
for me
ya.
not to have a lot of faith.
No, listen, I hear you, but now we turn it around.
Yeah,
You
now we're
believe.
turning. Look, they're starting all this week. I picked up Romeo Dobbs in free agency again. And also Alvin Kamara's off of suspension, and he did not do bad, but he's not going to be my starting running back. And Najee Harris actually had double digits for the first time this year. Guys, I have a question. Should I drop Tyler Lockett?
No.
Okay, just hear me out. He had 1 week where he had 1 week where he recorded 2 touchdowns and I had 24 fantasy points, right? But the other weeks, week 1, he had 1 fantasy point. Weeks 3 and 4, 5.4 each.
Who do you want
instead of him?
Receivers you have?
I don't know. What was your question, Earl?
How many receivers you have?
Well, let's see. I have St. Brown. I have Jalen Waddle, who also hasn't been looking great. Marvin Mims Jr. from Denver, who has production because he's a either kickoff or punt returner. I have Shaheed, who was a sneaky good pickup for me. McLaurin,
Also a returner.
Yep, McLaurin, and then Dobbs.
I would drop Dobbs.
Yeah.
Really? Because I don't know. Tyler Lockett has not been performing.
But his ceiling as a top end receiver fantasy wise is still there. I mean, he's rostered 91%, so compared to Dobbs 53%.
I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see. But I know who I'm starting next week. What are the matchups next week, Earl? I mean, this week. Not Earl, Maurice, sorry.
Let's see.
I play Joe, chicken wings.
Now I go up against your boyfriend. I shall avenge myself.
Gotta turn it around.
You might have beat me, but I'm going to beat that boyfriend of yours.
I'm
playing Hertz-Lahoma, John F.
Yeah, and I'm playing Wes. And real quick, before we end, let me just go through the standings real quick. It's a 3-way tie at number 1 with Earl, Hotel, Kyle, and Joe. They all 3-1. Me, Mal, and Lucas are all packed in the middle at 2-2. Wes is 1-3, and John is 0-4.
It's tight.
It's tight race.
Can go anybody's way.
You can go anybody's way.
Hurts
very well, good. We'll see.
All right. You're up, Mal.
All right, is that all we got, guys?
Yep, that's
Anybody
it.
else?
No social media stuff this week.
All right. So let's go into this week's previews before we wrap it up. So the Bears versus the Commanders tomorrow night on Thursday Night Football. Commanders are looking to bounce back.
Yes, we are.
We have the Giants trying to save a little bit of their season versus Miami Dolphins
They
on
playing
Sunday.
in Miami?
Oh yeah, we are.
Yeah, Mal. Ooh.
You know, I'm along for the ride. Is what it is.
You got
It is
Tua,
what it is.
right?
Yeah, I got Tua. So maybe there might be a silver lining in all this. And then we got the Eagles versus the Rams.
I'll say one thing before we get to that one. I'll say this: the Giants have a better chance of winning this game because it's in Miami. Now,
I don't.
True.
I don't.
I do agree with that.
Oh, because they don't do well at home. Gotcha. Okay.
the Giants. The
We
Giants.
only scored 3 points at home this year. 3.
Yeah.
They got outscored 67 or 64 to 3.
64-3. So, maybe we'll get a little something going. And the Dolphins defense is a little skeptical, so maybe we'll score more than 3 this week. Then we have the Eagles versus the Rams, and then we have Sunday Night Football, our matchup probably of the week, which is the Cowboys versus the 49ers.
Yes, I'm ready for this game.
Earl, this is going to be the real test of telling me whether or not the Cowboys are contenders or not.
That's
Even what
said.
happens here, and I have a really good feeling on what will happen, I still feel y'all in the 3-letter and 4-letter networks are going to continue to move the goalposts.
So
Look, if you guys win, I'm going to say that you guys are a contender because, the 49ers are an undefeated team. And if you guys win, unless like catastrophic injuries happen to them, I'm going to take it as a legit victory.
So, Earl, you have them winning this game, correct?
Yes, I have the Cowboys winning this game.
All right.
Here's our predictions for looking for that week, just to let you guys know. Give me 1 second. I'm opening up my book here. So, week 5. Earl's the only one with a victory for them.
Yep.
Stay to it, Earl.
Oh, always.
It's like Jerry Jones
ready.
said.
I told Lucas this before we started this podcast. No matter what happens, I'm ready for war. And Sunday, I go to war.
Mm-hmm. Real litmus test for you guys. All right,
Yes,
Mal. Wrap this up for us.
All right. Let's finish this up. So thank you guys so much for listening to our podcast, and thank you for coming out. Make sure you subscribe to us on Spotify, and you follow us on Twitter and Facebook at 13_rings podcast. We also are now on Threads with the same hashtag, same account name. So make sure you follow us there too. And everybody have a great night.
Peace.
See ya.
Blessing.